Yeah, sorry about that. Is everything clear so far? Is it clear what I mean when I say umlaut? Because this is the word that I want you to remember from these slides, if possible. Anyone? So an umlaut is the process of the changing of a vowel as a result of a suffix. It's named after a German process which happens with harmony between front vowels, but it's in general used to indicate vowels that are changed when they are added suffixes to the stem, when the stem is added suffixes, and even if that suffix is lost. So that's what I mean. Umlaut. Is everything clear? Okay. Then there's the GA passive. So the GA also has an internal passive, like many other stems in modern South Arabian. This is the form of it. Uh, it also barely changes. So rafits stays rafits with all of the suffixes. In some of them, its main stress becomes a secondary stress, but it usually stays exactly the same. You can see that there's what seems to be an epenthetic vowel at the beginning of this form. But this vowel is thought to be epenthetic also because it does not appear in other modern South Arabian languages, or at least in the Western ones. Any question regarding the past of the GA passive in Jibali? So this is parallel in Arabic to fu'ila, fu'iltu, or something like that, fu'ilku. Okay. The subjunctive is pretty much the same as the subjunctive of the GB. So there was larqob or something like that. And here it's larfot with an a vowel, which is the only difference. But there's these L's all around the place. Does everyone, or does anyone remember why there are L's everywhere in these weird paradigms, in this weird paradigm? I think I only said like a word about this, but in Jibali and a little bit less than that in Sokotli, there's a rule, a grammatical rule that has shifted two in the beginning of verbal forms to zero, and this L is added sort of to compensate for that, or something like that. Or it was there before, but it was not elided because of the T. So I don't know. So little faults, little feet in the feminine, of course. Yirfots or lerfots, it fits all with. Hmm. No, I think this is wrong and there's no secondary stress here. So little fits all, and so on. And little fits, similar to the GA, which assimilates the first person plural to the other plurals. The same happens here, which is weird. Lerfets, lerfets, lerfotsen, lerfets, lerfotsen. Is everything clear? Okay. So, sorry. Um, Now, this is the H2 stem, called by some scholars the DL stem, but I think it is more akin to a shin D or causative D stem because of the prefix. So the stem here is agodel in all of the forms, pretty much with slight changes. So agodel, agodelk, and so forth. Agodelk, agodel, and agidel in the imperfect, and with an suffix, and lagodel, lagidel, ligodel in the subjunctive. So once again, we see that the two is dropped. And once again, or first time, we see this suffix in the imperfect. And it appears in some stems, in some verbal stems in modern South Arabian. Among these are the H2, H3, H4, H5, and the T2 and the Shin2 stems. So we're going to see that soon again. And this also makes the singular and the plural forms almost the same. So tegodelen and tegodelen with a slight change in the vowel. Any question? No, nothing? Is it that simple and easy?
For me, is the most complicated thing that I have ever encountered in Semitic languages so far.
Yeah.
Very different from what I used to.
Yeah, yeah. I agree completely. And I felt the same thing. And I still feel the same thing about this all the time. Um, okay. So this is some of the allomorphs of the uh, H2 stem that we can see around things. So first of all, if there's a nasal in the first radical, or I think also in the second, but I'm not sure, the O changes to U. Um, Also, there are some other things that can happen. But first of all, so there's a lot of disagreement on how to classify some of these verbs. So a verb like furh is a little bit difficult to classify as this fu'il. Uh, but since it's a causative variant of the G, and it cannot be in the H1 stem, which we will soon see, it is classified in this way. Uh, Also, forms such as abded, which is very, very different and a little bit more similar to H1 stems, these are called the H4 stems by default, are specifically for geminate roots. So geminate roots have a completely different conjugation. I hope that was clear. And this is the H1 stem. So both in the H1 and in the H2 stem, there's this prefix, a in the H2 and a in the H1. But this prefix appears only when the first or second radical of the verb. No, sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, it's a little bit difficult, even for me. Um, This prefix does not occur when the first radical of the verb is voiceless and non-emphatic, but when the second is not. Okay, so for example, in this verb, flot, this prefix does not appear because F is voiceless and non-emphatic, and L is voiced, so it's not voiceless and non-emphatic. But here, G and D are both voiceless and non-emphatic, so this appears. In places like furq, furh, this does not appear because F is voiceless and non-emphatic, and R is not. B and D are both voiced. I hope that was clear. Even to that, there are exceptions, which is very, very frustrating. But usually, in this case, the prefix is dropped, and sometimes there's also gemination. So it really depends on which scholar you read. But Dufour, for example, notes these forms as flot with an initial gemination, which he claims that European scholars have not heard in the past, I don't know, 150 years or so. The subjunctive is leflet, very similar to that of the GA, loflet, but with an A vowel, and the L not only in the first person singular, which also shows that there was a two here. This 2 to 0 observation, I think, was Teston's from the beginning of the 90s. The conditional is pretty much the same, except with an E instead of the A, and with an O in the plural. Naflet, plural like singular, but nofletin, plural like plural. Weird. And the imperfect is ephelot, with 2 stressed vowels. So this is kind of like the GB that we saw before, like erakob. And I think both just show a sequence of 2 A vowels. So this would be in Akkadian ushapras or something like that. And the erakob iparas or something like that. Okay, is everything clear? A little bit complicated, I know. And these are some variants for the H stem. So there's a lot of allomorphy in general in modern South Arabian. If the first radical is a guttural, so the prefix is a, so a'shesh, a'ber. If the third radical is a guttural, so the vowel is a instead of a. And again, we see ke because F is voiceless and non-emphatic, and k is emphatic. And when the third radical is nasal, then the vowel is heightened, raised to E, and so forth.
I'm sorry, I have a question about Aver. Is it like Aver in Hebrew? Like
Yes, and exactly like awar in Arabic, yeah.
so every wow will become B. Oh,
Not every wow, no.
okay.
Some environments, unfortunately. Yeah. Usually before a consonant, but here it's a little bit weird because it's after a consonant. So yeah, you're right. But yeah. Then in modern South Arabian, there are the sheen stems. So the sheen 1 stem is exactly like the H1 stem. So it's like a sheen stem and a sheen T stem, actually. In Jibali, they don't have a sheen in the beginning of them. They have a sh, a special consonant of Jibali. So shektzork, like just like flot. Okay. And الشكسر, just like leaflet, and ishketzor, just like a felot. So entire conjugation is exactly the same. You can see all these vowel changes everywhere. The imperative is nice to see the scope of vowel changes. So shekter, shikter, shokter. Masculine singular, feminine singular, masculine plural. So this is a reflexive or causative reflexive or um, causative reciprocal, reciprocal, and so forth. Can be a lot of things. Any question? Okay, so the second one, I hope you can see well, is pretty much the same as the GB that we saw before. So rekab or something like that, to ride. So shekatska. And in the past, this is pretty much the same in all of the forms. Changes only with an all after it. But in the imperfect, we see that the N is added. So once again, this is probably CTL or something like that, because we see this N at the end that appears in the H2 and H3 and H4 and H5 and in the T2. So these are like the heavy stems or the stems that are derived of derived or something like that, because we don't have a D or an L stem actually. So we can't check if they have this or not. Is everything clear? Are you sure? Okay. There's not a lot more to talk about. Um, but I would like to at least mention the T1 stem, which is the GT stem, basically. So we have fotker, fotker, to become poor or something like that, or to be poor, to be in need. It stays pretty much the same in all of the conjugation, except when you add an all afterwards. Um, I think this system of the GT inflection resembles most Akkadian, because, first of all, modern South Arabian languages, as I've already mentioned, only infix the T and never prefix it, which is a feature of Akkadian, and not of other Semitic languages. So other Semitic languages either sometimes prefix and sometimes infix it, or always prefix, like Ethio-Semitic. Um, And also, there's no prefix in the perfect, which is different from also any other Semitic language that is not Akkadian. I think that Akkadian is the only Semitic language that has a GT prefixless perfect. So Fotkar is something like Pitus, I think. The
Is it like if افتقر in Arabic?
Yes, exactly. But in Arabic, you get that E in the beginning. So it's epenthetic, but it's still something. And here it's not like there's no need for epenthesis because there's a vowel between them, like Akkadian pitus. The subjunctive lefteker, tefteker is exactly like Akkadian iptaris, I think, or iptaris or something like that, or iptarus as well. So nothing special about that. And the imperfect is exactly like Akkadian iptarras. So iftekor, tiftekor, with these two stressed vowels. The conditional is always based upon the subjunctive, and in here, its vowel changes from E to E in all of the forms. Is everything clear? Any question? Okay. Um, Now, on top of the T1 stem, which is the GT, we have the T2 stem, which is the DT or LT. So this stem is very, very similar to the one found in G1, but with slight differences. So first of all, the subjunctive of this stem is almost identical to the perfect, no, sorry. The subjunctive of this stem is almost identical to the imperfect of the T1. So iftekor, and this is liftekor. I'm sorry that this vowel here is a schwa and not an a that is secondarily stressed, but that is because f and k are both voiceless and non-emphatic. Since if this verb was liftekor, it would be with two, with an a and an o, both of them stressed. The perfect is very, very similar, but افتكر with an A. So this is kind of more like the flit of the H1 stem that changes to all before the suffixes. And the imperfect has the N at the end. So does anyone remember what this N at the end, or why is it here, or where is it? Where is it added? Where is the suffix in added on the imperfect verb in modern South Arabian? Does anyone remember? No? So it's on the derived stems that are derived from derived stems. We don't have basic derived stems except for the for the sheen stem or the H1 stem, the first causative stem. But we have derived stems from derived stems otherwise. So we have G, we have GT, and we have CG or Sheen G or something like that. And those don't have this N. And all of the other stems, so the what we think should be Sheen D, Sheen L, Sheen TD, Sheen TL, TD, DTD, LT, all of these have the suffix of N in the imperfect. I don't know why it appears. It might be related to the fact that many of these verbs are similar between the subjunctive and the imperfect, and maybe they should have been the same if it weren't added, but it is only added in these environments. I hope that was clear. Here we can see some allomorphy in the T2 stem in Jibali. For example, atelim, we can see here the A that is stressed, and that is because both Ain and Lamed are not voiceless and non-emphatic. Tose, with a final glide, so a final vowel, how do you call it? Final weak that has a different vowel here. So atofe instead of ateshe or something like that. And no stress at the end. Abterek, Terev, and Aftekher. Does anyone that is not Jonathan remember why here there is an A that is stressed and here there's a schwa? Are you just shy, or is it really too complicated, or am I not doing it right? So some consonants, or Everyone knows the difference between consonants and vowels, right? Is there anyone here that doesn't know the difference between a consonant and a vowel? That's okay. Don't be ashamed. Don't be shy. I just want to know. Why can't I type? That's weird. Okay. Consonants can be voiced or voiceless. Okay, right? So k, when I create this sound, I don't move the vocal cords in my mouth. When I create the sound g, I do move the vocal cords in my mouth. So k, g, s, z. The first sound is voiceless. The second sound is voiced because I use voice when I produce it. Emphatic is the special category of consonants that we talk about in Semitic languages that are tet and tzadi and kuf. So they differ in their pronunciation between the different languages. And in modern South Arabian, there are many, many vowel deletion rules between and concerning voiceless and non-emphatic consonants. Does everyone know this now, or should I repeat it? Because it's important, I guess, or maybe not. I don't know. But I would love it if you gave me any feeling. And this is a sample text in Jibali with its translation to make it easy for everyone. Hefone aradk yol ekfor izohun brail ut. Hefone means to face or something like that, to the face or to a face, but that is a literal translation. And the non-literal translation would be earlier, like inapanim in Akkadian or lifnei in Hebrew, or maybe anapanim, maybe, yeah, to earlier, to face. So have you heard of this made up concept that maybe Semitic languages, well, they talk about the past as something that is before them, not maybe not just Semitic language, and the present something as is after them, like behind them. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so aradk is a verb. It means to go, but at a certain time of day. In all modern South Arabian languages, it is really, really important when you say you went somewhere or came somewhere, at which time of day it was. And there's a different verb for each time of day. I don't remember this time of day, but it sounds like it's morning or something like that because it
I
looks like
think I think Zuhurain ظهيرة
could be.
غدوة in Arabic.
Oh yeah, it could be. Yeah. Um, and this verb is in the DL or H2 stem. So arad from something like agodi. Yol. Uh, so two again. Akfar, foreigners or infidels or something like that. And this is, of course, broken plural. Izohun, those. This comes from something like ilohun, so from ille, haulai, elle, and so forth, but the L has shifted to a R here. Bail is owners, and ut, the house. Everything clear? Any question? Does anyone want to guess what acharet means?
Just like in Hebrew, ahar.
Yeah, exactly. Or in Arabic, akhar or something like that. So after.
Not in Arabic, ahar is different meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
We
agree.
don't have it actually in Arabic in this meaning.
مؤخر.
Yeah, مؤخرا.
مؤخرا. Yeah, تأكيد.
Recently, it's translated to recent.
Yeah. أخير. Yeah, yeah, you're right. There's أخير, there's آخر, and there's أخغي. Uh, so أخرات afterwards or at the end. Kisk. This is a verb in the G stem. Final aleph. So kose or something like that, or kise. No, kusa, I think. Kisk. Kufurt. So the foreign woman or the infidel woman, the kafira or something like that. The all, that, no, hidden, um, agree. So this is the um, this is, I think, a GB verb, hidden, in the first person plural. We did not agree. So that, not, agree, I, he, bese, and her, law, no. So once again, we see that the negation in modern South Arabian, just like in Ethio-Semitic, comes before and after what you negate, which is nice. But here we see both all and law. And we see that the wow of conjunction became b as well. Any question? Please. Badurk. This is, I believe, a H2 stem as well, DL. So edur. Behe, and so and I came back, and I, the غضب, that I was angry, less to her. Add, then, or until, zahamk, I came at a different time. Boon, here. Kisk, I found. Aregeshi, aregeshi. So areg is people. No, sorry, friend here. So person. Uh, so there's a suffix here, the she. The she suffix is of us two, of the both of us. And when you inflect a noun with a possessive suffix in modern South Arabian, and different from all other Semitic languages, you have to add the definite article at the beginning of the noun as well. So reg, or something like that, or rug, is person, but aregeshi, the friend of both of us, or the person of both of us. Bekolothk, and I told, hesh. Be'arad, and he went. She yisnohum, sorry, and went he yisnohum, to see them. So the third person pronouns have shin in Jibali, both in the singular and in the plural, shashum. But when it's added to a verb or a noun at the end, when it's a suffix, it's hum. So yisnohum, so that he can see them. Wa'ol edak, and I did not know. Wa'ol edak la. So eda is just like Hebrew yada or Akkadian idu. Wa'ol edak la yehotzel she min la. And I did not know yehotzel happened or something like that. Or if he would get something. Oh, so um, if he would bring, if he would achieve or something like that, like hasal in Arabic. She, something like she, min law, from no. So literally, I did not know if he brought something from not, which means I did not know if he did that or not. She od ar gheig fara. He, I am not sure exactly what the odd ar here means. So it's something like until something. Um, but I guess here it's just an adverb that he does not translate. Gheig fara. So uh, a person that is courageous. Betunk, and I thought, tosh, that he, ar. So ar is from bar. It means already or ready or something like that. But he truly is, or something like that. Hay hotel. Um, so if he would get something, sorry, I thought he'd surely get something. So I thought about him or that him already to get something and to let us go see بخنشني إجابش mit زحام. His answer, إجاب, so jawab, but with the definite article because there's a possessive suffix. Meet, when, زحام, he came. It is finished. Is everything clear? Is there any question? I'm sure there are so many questions. Maybe there's some kind of error that you can't see or hear me, and therefore you're
Is
asking questions. Yeah.
the ha high Hussein
Mm-hmm.
for future ha like in
No,
in
no.
Arabic?
I think it is actually the same as here, the he. So I think it's a a prefix that means something like le, but I should check that and I will let you know because it does sound a little bit similar to Arabic here, but I think that this can come before a verb and indicate um, like the predicate of a clause or something like that. So I thought that he will get it or something like that. Any other question? So that was pretty much it. But we can take a look at some other things in Mehri. Shit. Um, we will have a forced break soon. Um, so I will share that and we can talk about some of the features in Mehri that are different from Jibali. And the first of those would be the future tense, so-called, which is in fact parallel to the participle.